All right, so in today's video, I brought you into an entry tier list. I'm gonna be going over all of the entry fraggers on attack in a tier list for you. So with that out of the way, let's get straight into it. The first thing I want to tell you before we get into the tier list though, is it is based on who has the best information and destructibility, right? The ability to give information to yourself, but also to your team and be able to destroy bulletproof utility is what makes you a good entry player if you can also rely on your own mechanics. So that being said, that's the criteria for the tier list. So let's get on with it. I'm gonna put Dokkaebi in the S tier. So the reason for this being is she has information. She also has destructibility. She's also pretty easy to play and is overall just a very well-rounded package that will win you a lot of rounds. They've only buffed her to where if you're using a logic bomb and you're calling somebody, the defenders are unable to use cams, which is actually pretty cool. But she has 2 EMPs, right? Already very, very powerful. She has a Gone 6, and she has the ability to roam clear efficiently with her calls, to kick defenders off of their cams with calls, and then also to get all defender cams, which is extremely, extremely powerful. She can't use the ability of cams, like she can't shoot echo cams, she can't shoot maestro cams, and she can't shoot with the bulletproof camera. But that's it. Like other than that, she can do everything else that defenders can with their cameras, and it's extremely, extremely powerful, and they've only buffed her. The only downside is her loadout, but if you're on PC, the DMR is extremely easy to use and is a 2-tap to the body if you're a 3-speed defender. So very, very good, and is probably the best solo queue entry fragger in the game right now. Another great example, and I'd say behind Dokkaebi, is Yana. Yana is an S tier entry for me. She brings infinite information with her clone that she can provide to herself, which is extremely easy to use. She also has the destructibility with 2 frag grenades and 2 great weapons. Very easy to play and a lot easier to play than Dokkaebi is, but she's still not as good of Dokkaebi in terms of versatility and the pure amount of utility that she brings. So that's why she's behind Dokkaebi, but still in the S tier for sure. Finka, I'm going to put in the A tier. So she doesn't bring information, and that's really her only downside. She does have a Gone 6 though, so she has the bulletproof destructibility, and her ability is amazing. The Adrenal Surge, she can revive herself, revive her teammates, and give them an assortment of buffs, which is very, very powerful. And then she has 2 great weapons, the LMG and the Spear, and also the Sausage Shotgun if you want to bring that as well. So very well rounded. They did take her frag grenades away, which is really the only downside. Even then, she didn't have information in the first place, which is why she's going in the A tier. Ashe, I'm going to put in the A tier. I think extremely lowly of Ashe. I don't think she's actually that good of an operator, but if you're talking about like solo queue entry fragging, she's extremely easy to do that with. She has a lot of bulletproof destructibility. Zofia has it, but she has it as well. She's also a 3-speed. The only thing she's really lacking in is information, and that's why she's not quite S tier. She's pretty bottom of the barrel A tier though, but the R4C purely is what's carrying her in the A tier, as it's extremely easy to be an entry fragger on attack with Ashe, and that's pretty much the only reason she's an A tier. Utility wise, she's pretty lackluster, and that's why overall as an operator, I'd actually put her in the B tier. But this is a tier list on who's the best at entry fragging, and she's extremely easy to do that with, which is why I'm putting her in the A tier. I'm going to put Fuse in the B tier. I do think Fuse is actually, you know, kind of a good operator in the sense that he has the most efficient burn in the game, right? He has 4 sets of 5 frag grenades, which is 20 grenades that can clear all ADSs while Mag Magnets in the game, and also kill players or get bulletproof utility in the process if you're lucky. And he has the AK-12 and the LMG. So very powerful, but he's kind of niche, and there are other operators that do his job a lot better and are way less counterable, as you can just shoot the fuse charge. So I don't think he's that good. And for entry fragging, he's a 3 armor, and he has no ability to make it easier for him to entry frag like Yana or like Dokkaebi or like Finka's Burst. So that's why he's in the B tier. Lion, I'm going to put in the S tier. Lion essentially does what Dokkaebi does, but a little bit differently. So Lion has the information with the Lion scans. He has great weapons. He has a Gone 6, right? Destructibility. And he has EMP grenades, right? Very, 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 very versatile, very fun to play, very easy to play. The better you know how to use Lion, the better you're going to get. The skill ceiling is very high, but he's also extremely easy to play. With a click of a button, you can know where all of the defenders are, or you can know where all of the defenders aren't. And if you know where they are and they scan and you don't see any pings, then you know they're still there and you can get easy pre-fires. Also, just so much utility, like I said, so that is why he is in the S tier for now. Sledge, I'm going to put in the S tier. The only thing he's really lacking is information, but he has one of the best ARs in the game, and also a virtually infinite amount of soft destruction as well, making him very versatile with, you know, vertical play, getting barbed wire, barricades. He overall just speeds up anything that you need to do that involves destruction, and very easy to play. Also with 2 frag grenades as well. Also being that only 4 operators in this game have frag grenades now, Glaz, Yana, Sledge, and Nock, his frag grenades are even more important and even more needed on somebody. That is why he's in the S tier. Next, I'm going to talk about Grim. Grim is a really, really bad entry. Very bad operator operator overall. I think as an operator, he's probably one of the worst operators in the game, and he's always going to be at the bottom of every single tier list you see, just because his ability is very lackluster. I actually made a short where I talked about why he's not good, and it's not the launcher. There are tons of other operators that have launchers in the game. That's not why he's bad. It's actually just his ability itself. It's very slow, it's very clunky, very easily counterable, and also even when you don't counter it, it doesn't do much anyways, so not really that good. And then it doesn't really help him on the entry either, so that is why he is a C tier operator. Next, I'm going to talk about Blitz. I think Blitz, I'm going to put in the B tier above Fuse. He's actually pretty good for solo queue. People do not know how the fuck to deal with a Blitz. I'm in Diamond lobbies, and they don't know how to deal with a Blitz, and I'm on PC, right? Like, no one knows how to deal with the Blitz. It's actually kind of insane. If you know how to play Blitz correctly, of course. But even then, you don't have a gun, right? And you're not providing much utility for your team at all. I will say, though, if you're calling out to your team, you have almost an unlimited amount of information, just like Monty does. He can just stand there and ping people and call out where people are without it being able to be countered at all. So he has the information. He's very easy to play and very easy to get kills with, but he's overall lackluster in every single other area, and you have to be extremely skilled with him for he to be of any use at all. And even if you are of use, you not having a gun is a risk and a liability because your teammates are probably dog shit anyways. So that is why he's in the B tier. Next, I'm going to talk about Knock. Knock is an S tier operator. Overall, she's an S tier operator, but especially as an entry, she's an S tier operator. I'm going to explain why. So the ability to be able to counter any single piece of information on defense is extremely powerful, especially now when we have cameras fucking galore. It's really powerful to be able to completely counter that. It's extremely powerful also to be able to counter the crouch walking nerf that they gave to everybody in the game. If you didn't know, they made crouch walking 20% louder, and she completely negates this. She also, like I said, is one of the 4 operators in the game that has frag grenades and is overall just extremely annoying to go against, but extremely easy to play and get value out of. There is a reason that in Challenger League and in Pro League, she has a 90% ban rate on all maps on every single game, and she has for the past 3 seasons. There is a reason that she is one of the top 5 most banned attackers in all of Plat and above PC Siege. There is a reason why her pick rate has soared and her win rate has also soared, because people are realizing how good she is in the game, and for that reason, I'm going to put her in the S tier category. I will say she does lack information, but she has so much information counter that it really makes up for that, and that's why she's in the S tier. So Amaru, I'm going to put probably below Fuse at the bottom of B tier, and the reason for this being, she does have a great weapon. She has no information though, like at all. She just has her drones, which is actually terrible, and the only destructive ability that she has is with her Gon 6, but usually you want the SMG-11 combo anyways, so that's why I am putting her in the B tier. She provides 0 utility to her team. Her ability is completely useless unless you have a coordinated team, but again, this tier list is for solo queue ranked and for entry fragging, so you're not going to be using that 9 times out of 10 anyways, and that's why she's in the B tier. I don't really have to say anything for that. It's Amaru. I feel like I shouldn't even have to talk about this. She's B tier. Ying, I'm going to put in the A tier. I'm going to put her probably above Ashe and below Finka. Ying is extremely easy to get value out of, and I think she's extremely underrated, but she doesn't have any information, and she doesn't have any destructible utility. That is the only thing really holding me back from putting her any higher. She does have the hard breaching charges, but I'm talking about like bulletproof utility, like deployable shields or bulletproof cameras, stuff like that, Malusi gadgets, barbed wire. She doesn't have anything to deal with that at all, and that's really the only thing holding me back from S tier. I think her utility is extremely strong. People do not know how to counter a Ying if you're a Ying player that's extremely skilled as well. She has 2 smokes, 4 Ying candelas that have like 6 flashes each. Like it's ridiculous. She's very easy to play. 50 round LMG with all of the scopes in the game with 0 recoil as well. Very, very, very underrated, very underpicked, and her win rate is extremely high because of it, and that's why she's in the A tier. Glaz, I'm also going to put in the A tier. I think the only reason that Glaz isn't in the B tier for me is because he has frag grenades and a secondary sidearm now, but he's not overall really that good, and that's why I'm going to put him in the very bottom of A tier. Top of B tier could also be argued too, but frag grenades are so valued now, and especially if you're solo queue and you're playing Glaz on sites where Glaz is actually viable, like Coastline, for example, then, you know, he can actually be a threat to be dealt with, and his guns are extremely easy to use. He's also a 3-speed, and he has the thermal scope, which is kind of information in and of itself, but yeah, just a lack of information really, and the fact that he has a sniper and brings no other utility to his team other than smokes is really why I'm putting him in the A tier. But even if you're bringing smokes, you're not bringing frag grenades, which is why he isn't really that good, and that's why he's going in the bottom of A tier for now. The really thing that's only saving him is the fact that he's one of the 4 operators that has frag grenades, and that's it. Blackbeard, I'm putting in C tier. He is probably the worst operator in the entire game, hands down. Maybe better than Grim. But even then, he's not providing utility and information like Grim is. He's just providing a face mask. And even then, if people are hitting headshots on you, the fact of the matter is, if they have low recoil guns, after they hit one headshot, they're gonna hit 4 or 5 more if you're not dead from the first headshot because they have automatic weapons, right? No one is sitting there shooting you once in the head and then backing up. They're just spraying until you're dead from hitting you in the head. That's why his face shield is so useless. And he only has EMP grenades that are useful because of that. Like, his only other use is EMP grenades, brings no utility, brings no information, and is overall very useless. His guns are also dog shit, and that's why I'm putting him in the C tier. Getting down to our last 4 operators, I'm going to put Twitch in the A tier. I'm going to put Twitch at the top of A tier. She has information. She has probably one of the best guns in the entire game. She also has the ability to counter information and is great on big maps where cams are viable and there are many drone holes like Chalet and like Bank. The only thing stopping me from putting her in S tier is the fact that she has no means of getting bulletproof utility. She has no destructibility, and that's really the only thing stopping me from putting her in the S tier. She is really, really, really good. I think people sleep on her a lot, especially in the higher level of play, because there are better options to do what she does. But on maps like Chalet and Bank, she's played 90% of the time in Pro League, especially if Flores is banned or Mute is banned, and that's why I'm going to put her in the A tier. She's very underrated, especially in solo queue ranked. If you're trying to look at who to best entry with, the F2 with the 1.5 is fucking crazy, so I definitely recommend playing Twitch, and that is my reasoning for putting her in the A tier. Going into my final 3, Jackal I'm going to put in the S tier, but the bottom of S tier. This may come to a surprise to a lot of you, but the only thing really keeping me from putting him, let's say, like above everybody else, is because he has no bulletproof destructibility. He has the most effective roam clear in the entire game, 0 question, secondary shotgun, and 2 very good primary guns, and that is why he's played so much, but he doesn't have any destructibility, which is why Knock is so low, and why Twitch is so low as well. He also is banned a lot, so you shouldn't really count yourself playing Jackal at all, and just be looking at people that are above him, but that is why he's S tier. Still very, very good. Just not as good as the people above him in terms of reliability and being able to look at all aspects of what you're able to do for your team. Now, Zofia, I'm going to put above Sledge and behind Lion. So my reason for this being is Sledge, Knock, and Jackal are all missing one thing, and that's either information or destructibility, right? Zofia brings both of those. You can use her stuns as information to clear rooms out and to be able to head clear. That is the only source of information that I can think to be able to use. Other than that, she doesn't bring as much information as, let's say, Lion, Yana, or Dokkaebi, and that's why she's behind them. She does have destructibility with her impacts, which is very, very good, but these 3 people have frag grenades, Dawn 6s, or EMP grenades to be able to disable stuff like Melusi gadgets and stuff like that, or bulletproof cameras, which is why they're ahead of her. But she has 2 very, very good guns, overall a wide versatility of utility, and that is why she is an S tier. My last operator is going to be Buck, and Buck, I'm going to make an argument for the bottom of S tier, maybe the top of A tier. Either one is acceptable. I think the addition of his Gone 6 this season is what's putting him in the S tier for me. Otherwise, I would have put him at the very top of A tier. Now, he has the destructibility that he's been needing. The thing that made him A tier, the rest of him not having grenades, is because he has no destructibility and no information. But now with the Gone 6 and him having flash grenades and him being able to burn and then get bulletproof utility, he's extremely versatile and extremely powerful, and that's why I'm going to put him in the S tier. He has the destructibility. The only thing he's missing is the information aspect, and that's why he's so low on the S tier as he is. He also can provide verticality, but also from below, which is something that Sledge can't do, and that's why he's in the S tier. Very versatile, very easy to play, just not as good or versatile as the people above him, and that is why he is where he is. But that's pretty much it for the tier list, guys. This is a lot of S tier operators because attack is extremely overpowered right now, in my opinion, especially the people that are in the top 3 right now. But that's pretty much it. Like the video if you liked it, sub to the channel. I'm almost at 1K, so I'm almost fucking monetized. Ain't that crazy? Oh my god, I love y'all. Those of you who've been for the journey, thank you so much for sticking around. We're gonna make it one day. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the video. I'll see you next time. Later.